Hello, hello, hello. I'm going to wait until everyone comes into the room. Okay, so I'm just gonna wait till everyone comes in the room. All right, just maybe one more minute. I just want to just go over this because it's kind of been taking the airwaves, and for some reason, you know, people are really taken up with this situation, and it was triggering for a lot of people. The issue with Kirk Franklin and his son. I guess the whole thing with Kirk Franklin is that he's a gospel singer. You know, his whole career has been on like things of God, church, surrounding on Christianity. And some people feel like, I guess, if you have always had a religious front and you're singing religious songs, that somehow that you do not have any other side of you other than, holiness and being Christ-like and all of this. And what people tend to associate is when you have situations where you lose your temper and you use profanity or you just like blow up or whatever, everyone's been shocked. What one of the triggers is that a lot of Black people found that triggering because many of them have said throughout everywhere else that this is part of their upbringing. Mama always cussed you out, or beat you or whatever type of toxic parenting that was kind of talked about as normal. And people tend to feel like, well, it's part of that. That's how it is, and people just need to, you know, if you didn't act right, then he had wouldn't have to do that, or he was clearly frustrated, and children should obey your parents and children should honor your parents, which is true. But people, a lot of people felt that he um, really blew a gasket, but it was rightfully so because he was frustrated, and the son is whatever, he shouldn't have like got his dad mad. So the debacle with Kirk Franklin is that um, he and his dad, according to Kirk Franklin, has been having a difficult relationship. And over the years, he's 33 years old. He's had a difficult relationship with his son, and they got into an argument, and you know it was clear to everyone because the son recorded their conversation, unbeknownst to Kirk Franklin himself, um, of the argument going left, and the son, actually Kirk Franklin cursing the son out and calling, just all the profanity, just really cursing him out. So it became a public fallout. What could have been a father-son, could have it, a disagreement turned into a very public fallout in the wake of the furor. And you know, then Kirk Franklin comes out with an apology, apologizing and saying, I am sorry for my actions, and explaining how he and his son's relationship has been very agitative, as in his words. And it's been a lot, and they have had gone to counseling over that. So, what I want, I'm sure people have played the audio. People have played the audio before, but this is the extent to which things went during this very difficult conversation. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen.
I was raised in a home with I did it. He just hung up the phone. I'll break your neck. Is that a threat? Y'all tell me what y'all think about this entire situation.
So this is one person's account. Well, they had the video of this drama. Frankly, this was pretty hard to hear. This was really hard, difficult to hear, that whole thing going down. But I didn't really appreciate the son using profanity either. And I didn't appreciate the father, Kirk Franklin, using profanity either. This has not been the first time. That you can tell by the way they were relating to each other and the swear words just flying at each other. You would think it's an argument between two dudes on the job or whatever, and not a parent and an adult child. And it's really like comes to a point where why exactly did this go viral? Yes, it's been triggering for a lot of people because everybody knows, oh, I grew up, my mama cussed me out, my daddy cussed me out, but that's what it is, and normalizing this toxicity. But it's also normalizing the fact that, kids be cussing out their parents too and telling them what they need to tell them and all this little stuff. It is quite the shocker. And what I have to say is that, what are some of your questions on that? What are some of your take on that? And as the days kept going, because this happened like a few days ago, and as time goes on by, now the son wants to say that he may have been molested by his dad, and it's just like, okay, well, why is all of this coming up now? This son is a handful, rightfully so. Basically he's trying to accuse his dad of manipulation and abuse, and those are very, very serious charges. And that was after the dad, Kirk Franklin, calls him aggressive. Really and truly, people are not perfect. It goes to show, don't try to idolize people. People have their own family drama, their own family issues. Do not put them up on a pedestal. Do not try to make yourself like, as if you know these people. You don't know these people. Okay? There was an expletive-laden video showing them arguing. People didn't see him in that light. The son was wrong to record somebody without their knowledge. And you could tell he was looking for some dirt to share on his dad. But, Kirk is doing very well in his career. What is it after all these years that the son felt that, oh, I need to record him and, all this type of stuff? You see, when you look at a situation and a blow up like that, a public fallout, you can never tell how long this has been going on. This has been going on for a while. You don't even need to be the therapist or the fly on the wall hearing the discussions. Kirk Franklin, claims to have had consulted with their therapist, and that the son strategically didn't share that recording, or cut off the recording at that point where he got the therapist on the phone. But then in another video, I believe when he was talking to Tamron Hall, y'all, Kirk Franklin was dragged through the streets and gathered around everybody explaining his family drama. when he said who was he said the therapist was in on the conversation. So the first time it was more like he was having to call the therapist in to mediate between the two men. And now we're hearing when he goes on Tamron Hall, he says, well, the therapist was there the whole time and he was the guy laughing key at the back of in the background. Now, that don't sound like no therapist now. That don't sound like no therapist, no, sir. If the therapist is there, or is your close friend who does shadow as your therapist, okay? It's a close friend, but he's also his therapist. Why is the therapist cackling in the background? I mean, I cackle when there's like yelling and stuff going on between like other people. And it's hilarious to watch because, someone's getting yelled at. But I mean, at this point, apparently, he's made it clear that they've been having a troubled relationship and they've been in therapy. And then he says that he knows the therapist very well and that the therapist was present. So it sounds like a set of people gathering around him and the son getting at it, and a random friend is just there cackling. What did the therapist do or say? Just not something a therapist would do at that point if that's his function, besides being Kirk Franklin's close friend. Okay? So you could tell also when you look at the recording, the frustration in Kirk Franklin's voice. He's been through a lot with that child. You could tell that he's just up to here. This boy's 33 and still on his damn nerve. And it's been a lot for him. And you could hear that he just blew. And sometimes that happens. You see, we don't know the other side of the story. We don't have the other picture. You see what I'm saying? So let us know in the comments. Just be respectful, but let us discuss in the comments what you think. Is this, the poster child of Black parenting? Because I'm sure not. I was never cussed out by my parents. I mean, it was mutual respect. They taught us to respect each other, respect them, and they also respected us. Okay. So it just appears that, what I want to say is we don't want to normalize that as something that parents should do. And, because you see, he also swore back at his dad. He also swore back at his dad, and the dad was swearing at him like a sailor. And, it just, you could tell this is why the son is so comfortable in cursing him out like that, recording him. And, you wouldn't think that it's his dad he's talking to. You know what I'm saying? So, and I understand that he was a single father. That was before Franklin, I guess, married the wife that he's with now. So let me look and see, because I did know that, and I just don't want, I'm just trying to like look it up that, I don't have the wrong information. But he at one point, had to raise Carry On by himself. And, other people, it was very difficult for him. And then he later married, and then he had more children. He married his wife in 2006, and then they had, other children after. He had more children with her. So, and then he's had his own issues. He had appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show about how he ended his pornography addiction. That was in 2005. Okay. So that's from around the way, but you can in the comments, add also what you knew about the early upbringing. But I just know that it was difficult. So now you fast forward 33 years later, the relationship has been so toxic, and Kirk Franklin blows up and just swears, and the son is swearing at him back. This has been going on for a long time. But I will say this. um, we still have to have a boundary, even as parents. And then as children, there's also a boundary. And when those are crossed, when respect is lost, this is what happens. I don't want to co sign the son talking to your dad that way and swearing at your father. And no, I don't co sign Kirk Franklin for cursing and losing his mind, like what they say, losing my religion. You must remain in control because, but then again, he may not have always been in control. And this is why his son can still turn around and swear back at him like it's a like his age mate, his comrade, his chump from around the way. Very disrespectful. Look, let us know in the comments, like, subscribe, put on your notifications, and we'll see you on the next video or live. Take care.